And that will be the full-time whistle blown by Amber McLaughlin. England with another dominant performance in front of a record-breaking crowd at Welford Road. 11 tries, another 69 points added to their tally. And if there was any doubts in French minds as to the challenge England will bring to Bayonne in a week's time, they've surely been long since dispelled over the last couple of hours. This star-studded, superstar-laden England matchday 23 have done the job that they came to do, and unfortunate for Ireland, it's them that has been on the receiving end of it. It's finished full time at Welford Road. England 69, Ireland 0.
Yeah, thanks to Grace and Dave. So 9 second-half tries, and Fiona, this is what happens when you have the resources and the professionalism and the numbers of the English game against an Irish team struggling really in all of those areas.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, with the injuries as well going forward, I've been a bit nervous for Scotland next week as well. But, you know, England showed their true class in the second half. They were outstanding. I'm sure their coach Middleton had a word with them at half-time, because it wasn't the England we're used to. But I'm very sure that Ireland will be very, very disappointed with that second half performance. It was quite disappointing at times.
79-0 is the record defeat. This is 10 short of that. Jenny, how would you surmise today or place today?
First half, really strong performance from Ireland. Huge defensive shift, and the girls will be really proud going into the dressing room at half-time. And then just a gutting second half. They're going to be really frustrated and disappointed with that. That's not how they want to leave Leicester. Gaps started opening up in defence. They're slipping off tackles. Set piece definitely deteriorated. Yeah, it was tough. And also credit to England. They really they got out of third gear and really ramped it up. And
those cards as well, Joe, were a killer. I mean, discipline. No, I talked at half-time about how good the discipline had been, and then we saw a yellow and red card, which, you know, that first yellow, I think there was three tries scored within maybe 6 minutes of it. So look, there are areas that they can fix going forward, but with defensively they were very good. But when they got high and when they were tackling high, it absolutely killed us, and that cost us Irish team, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's even difficult to know how to frame it when 9 of the players are missing, 7 with the sevens, 2 injuries, admittedly. But you know, David Nucifor is looking on, the IRFU are looking on. DNA-wise, the 15s game is what this country is interested in. These kind of performances, if we're being honest, there's no... the country's desperate, I think, to row in behind Irish rugby and to support this team. But performances like that are incredibly chastening.
Yeah, I grew up watching, you know, Keith Wood and watching the Six Nations. It's very much part of who we are, and culturally it's really important for any rugby fans. The big ones are the World Cup and it's Six Nations. I thought that the girls that came in today, some of them did a really good job. Enya Breen and Sene in particular, she'll be gutted with that red card. Were really strong, and I thought they had put in a good defensive shift and varied around the attack. When we did have ball, it wasn't a lot in the second half. But yeah, where is the priority with Ireland, with the RFU at the moment? Is it with sevens and is it with 15s? At the moment, when you take away such a huge chunk of players, the answer seems pretty clear.
But also when you take away that number of players mid-tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, are we at a point, OK, if the IRFU have decided we want sevens and there's a Sport Ireland grant and there's the Olympics and that's, you know, we want to develop that aspect of the game, OK. It's probably not where the majority of us would be looking towards in terms of rugby, fine. Is there then an argument that if that's the case, Ireland should start the Six Nations and say to the sevens players, we're really sorry. If this is the way it is, then you're not involved in the Six Nations, and you go with these players who play today and at least give them continuity, because too many of these players today were getting their first match.
Yeah, that's it, you know, and you can't question the heart and fight out of those girls that came in. You know, they showed everything through everything that they had, but at the end of the day, you're just looking at this team and the sevens players are just pulled out. Big question, why weren't the girls in camp with them the whole time? You know, why weren't they training? Why wasn't Sene there? these are questions that need to be answered going forward. I'm sure there's reasonings behind all this, but it would be great if we were made aware that we knew that the sevens players were leaving, but it doesn't say a lot for that depleted squad. You know, they put in such a shift for a first half. You know, they were immense. There was great pride throughout the whole game, and it just saddened me to see a scoreline like that and the heads down at the end. And
like, where's the future in it? So next 6 stations, all the sevens players come back in, play the first couple of games. Maybe there's a sevens tournament. Out they go again.
I genuinely don't know. Like, you're going to have to be open and upfront with the players. Like, Ireland is different to England and we're different. We don't have the playing numbers, so we have to be smart about it. But make your decision and then kind of like pick your lane, because it's really tough on players having to jump from one boat to the other. They're both different games, and obviously you can get so much from playing sevens and you get so much from playing 15s. But like, where do we want to perform? I don't want to be like the next World Cup. We missed out on this World Cup in New Zealand. Ireland needs to be in the next World Cup, and you need to start making. There needs to be pathways. There needs to be support. There needs to be proper steps made now, rather than kind of waiting a couple of years down the line and being like, oh, we should have copped on a little bit earlier.
Okay.